Today I'm going to show you how I go about grouping my guitars, bass, and drums for a modern metalcore, djent, or thall mix. It doesn't matter which DAW you're currently using, this technique works all across the board. I'm going to use a song that I'm not currently finished, so don't take my riffs, and if you do, I already posted it first, so I got it. So this song is currently in double drop A or drop A0 with the Squire Bass 6. So let's go from the beginning. I'm currently on this track using ML drums. One important thing to note is that I will always do some sort of group of my main instruments. So let's say drums will have their own group where all of the drum mics or all of the drum channels are sent to one group. That way I can kind of compress them, and what I like to do with drums in general is take them from going 100% wide, but put them a little bit more inwards. Since my guitars are 100% wide, I want the guitars to take that real estate, and I want my drums to kind of sit more in the middle. That way I have like at least, you can see on my drums I'm at 80% width. At least I have that extra 20% that only the guitars are living in. Basically, to get all of your drums from ML Sound Labs, Invasion, or whatever program you're using, in Ableton at least, and very similar in Pro Tools. I have my track here with ML. I'm just gonna make a new track, for instance. This audio 3, I'll just go to where my input is. So instead of like receiving input from your interface or from an audio track, we're gonna take it from the actual track that has the drums on it, which is right here, ML Sound Drums. And then from there, you see nothing's really happened, but we have these options, and now I just click and you can choose which drum you want to be on which one. So obviously I'm gonna start with kick, and I have my kick right there. If I solo it, in Ableton at least, nothing happens because you have to click this blue in button. And now I have my kick straight from ML set to a different track so I can use all my different plugins on. If you want to see a video of me going through a mix in an hour and doing as much as I can, check out this video right here. I pretty much go through all the instruments and what I would normally do in real time. The only real difference between programming drums and tracking real drums is that we'd have more mics and more channels. So let's say we had a kick in and a kick out, and then here we have a group. So I would affect my kick drum in the way that I want it, my kick drum out the way I want it. So let's say for whatever example, it's gonna be weird because it's the exact same signal twice. For whatever reason, we want to take all of the low end out of the kick in. So it's just that, and then all of the high end out of the kick out. Let's get rid of more. So now we have two very different tones, and then they're both set to a group. So now we have our full sound, and then we can obviously put our plugins on, do whatever we want. What I normally do with guitar is that I'll sidechain the guitar to the snare, so every time the snare goes off, whatever frequency I set will get ducked. That way the snare can really poke through, and you kind of just listen through and just like choose your frequencies. I'm using Wave Factory's track spacer, but you can also do it with a multiband. The FabFilter multiband is really good for that, but this plugin is built specifically for that reason. And then same thing with bass, except with the bass, instead of sidechaining it to the snare, I'm sidechaining it to the kick, so that every time the kick goes off, my low end gets ducked. I'll start with bass since it's a lot more simple. Normally I just copy and paste the bass channel, and one of them I'm using for only low end, and then one of them I'm using for like high end and jangle. And then I'll put them through. That's why it's important for them to be in their own bus, so that I can sum them onto one single channel and affect them together as one. So that's where my group comes in handy. Guitars get a little bit more advanced because we have our rhythm guitars, and then if we have our clean guitars or our slightly less distorted guitars, and then we have like leads. So you can see I have my leads on their own bus here. I have, this specific song has a clean section, so I have my cleans unlabeled. And then I have the light guitar, this section right here. So it's super simple for me to just have my light guitars on their own group and kind of affect them in one way, and then have my no cab. If you've watched my channel before, you know I love to have a version of the guitars that have no cab on it, so they sound disgusting like this. Just adds a lot of high end and sizzle to your guitars and presence. So the power of Ableton is that you can so easily group anything that you want, and like many things. Like you can make multiple groups. I don't think they cut you off with the groups that you can make. So as you can see here, I've got my no cab group, which is my left and right. I've got my main guitar group, which is my left and right, and then both of those are feeding to my unlabeled properly real unlabeled properly real guitar. Meal guitar, yeah, let's say meal guitar. Whatever. My meal guitars. So that's why I love Ableton. I've been using Ableton for a long time. I've been using Pro Tools for way longer. I'm gonna make a video about this, but I'm actually gonna stop using Pro Tools because Ableton's got to a point where I just trust it a lot more. For instance, I'll talk about it in a different video. The cool thing about this technique in general is that when I'm, say, writing and I want to keep my CPU usage low, when I'm mixing, I don't care. I just like go crazy with plugins and tracks and whatnot. But when I'm writing, I want to keep it relatively low so that I have my real-time playability and there's no glitching or anything. The cool thing is that I now set my DI guitars. These are basically just, I have my STL tonality Will Putney. Everything's off except for the pedals because I really have been liking the auto amps or auto audio 1111. Yeah, I really like it. And what's cool about that is, yeah, I have my raw, say, DI tones here, and then I'm just grouping my DIs and then putting the amp on the group and then sending that group to my meal guitars with the no cab version. And then later when I'm mixing, I'll take the amp and I'll actually put it back on the channel. I'm also using ML Miko cab emulator and like IR pack where you make your own sounds. I really like this plugin, it's really cool. It's just like, I don't know, I'm the type of guy that's hands-on. I really like to just dial in my sound myself instead of throwing on different IRs and hoping that one works. This seems to work really well for me. I like this plugin a lot. Highly suggested. So then those are my meal guitars when I'm hungry. And then I got my light guitars. Just when I want a snack, you know? Same thing with the light guitars, the snack guitars. Let me name those light snacks. Light snack. With my light snack guitars, I don't even have the Will Putney plugin on because I don't want any extra gain. I want no pedals on it, so I'm just using the 1111 even without the Miko because I just found a cab that really worked for this specific part. Up until this point, I've been mixing in Pro Tools and I do it the exact same way. I have my channels sent, I have my individual tracks sent to a bus that has my processing and like my mixing and EQing, and then I have those sent to a master bus of guitars, bass, drums, synths, and vocals. This started as like a how to group channels video, and now it's basically becoming get Ableton. That's basically what I'm saying. And then I have the same kind of situation with my keys. So all of my keyboards back here, they're all off. Can't really see them, but they're there. They're all grouped and ready to go and record. And then, yeah, my Pro 3 is set to its own Pro 3 channel, so I can group it there and then EQ it, do whatever I need to. This is how easy it is to make a group. It took 2 seconds. Genius. Not me, but the plugin, the program, the world. What was I talking about? That's basically it. Super simple technique. No matter which DAW you use, I'm sure that you can group things. If you can't, get Ableton. Honestly, get Ableton. It's the best. This came about because I got actually a few questions about this topic. So if you have any topics at all that you want covered, let me know down in the comments below because I read them all, I reply to all of them, and if there's like a topic that you're interested in that I think I could help or that there aren't videos really on, I'll definitely make a video about it. So thank you so much for watching and I'll see you next time. See ya.